Oh, you were? Yeah, you were.
So what's the thing you picked up learning from school, or maybe
My name's I'm the Cultural Services Manager for Manchester Libraries, and it's really fantastic to see so many people here today for what is sadly our last partnership event with the Manchester Literature Festival, well, for this year anyway. It's been an amazing week and 10 days, and I think the festival has been a brilliant success this year. But we are finishing off today with, personally, what I think is our best event, our finale, which is Mr. Tariq Latif, who's published by ARC Publications. And Tariq is here today to launch his new collection, Punjabi Weddings. Tariq was born in a small village outside Lahore in Pakistan. He graduated from Sheffield University with a degree in physics and worked actually here in Manchester for 15 years in a family printing business. He's recently moved to the outbacks of Argyll and Bute, where he works part-time as a telephone salesperson and spends his free time roaming the Scottish Highlands, writing occasional verse. As he said to me just now, writing and rambling. Sounds idyllic. He was the first prize winner of the Daily Mail National Poetry Competition in 2004. And I'd just like to read the quote that Andrew Motion made, writing about Tariq's winning entry in that competition. There's an understanding of the beauty of the language, which means you have to have a very good ear, which Tariq Latif has. Tariq Latif.
Thank you very much. We'll do a bit of geography. What I'd like to do is start off from where I was born, which is a small village just outside of Lahore in the Punjab. And this poem is set there, which is simply called At Night. Every now and again a knot cracks, and the burning sticks fall a little. The old women and men go on talking about who is to marry who, and who has died, and who has left. Their tobacco-rich voices mingle with the world news on the radio. The children, curled up by the fire, are lulled to sleep by the deep voices. Around the farmers, in the immense dark, there are the sleepy cotton fields, luminous cotton plants that look like stars in the endless expanse of the Milky Way. Fireflies wander among them like brief comets, or souls dissolving just beyond ourselves. And that's the theme we're going to try and follow in the poems which I have selected from my collection, which is to do with the soul and aspects to do with spirituality. Let's jump from Pakistan to Tunisia, and the next poem is quite simply entitled Pictures of Tunisia. It's based on a week's holiday in Tunisia. Pictures of Tunisia. Anna, you should have seen them at the hills. They were like a section of rough sea solidified. They were packed so close, and they rolled wave upon wave in front and behind, detailed by occasional shrubs and what seemed like a sprinkle of pepper bells. The hills swept down into the wide V-folds of the valleys, and the valleys kept opening and opening all the way to the flat, endless horizon. You could see the Gulf of Gabes. It looked like a tiny blue tongue tucked under the sky. And we had been there just 2 hours ago, when the land on our right rolled and rolled all the way to the thin ridge of the mountains, and the sea on our left swept for miles and miles, and eventually curved into the seam of the sky. I walked for miles across a desert of frost and ice, and all the while I thought hard about her silent eyes. And I could have walked for miles and still felt no closer to the Atlas Mountains, nor seen anything different. And when you scrub the ice, it soon gives to mud. And when you taste the water on your fingertips, you realise this endless landscape of ice is really salt dehydrating under the sun. Something shook the air. Anna, you could feel it tremble again and again, but everyone was too busy haggling with vendors over the price of quartz, beads, Arabian dresses, dates and mint tea, even to notice. And by the time I had reached them, I had become a boy of 7, hearing my mother hush, our yelling, and then the faint boom, boom. And because the adults were silent, we knew something bad was happening somewhere. And when I had crossed over to the other side, all I could see was still water, clear, salty water, water all the way to the sky. Sometimes you couldn't see the horizon line. The water simply went up in the air. Now that was a mirage. When the sun was low, all the curves, grooves and tiny hills in the desert lit up. And when I held my hands in the delicate light, they also shone and became soft and beautiful. And so much light entered the coach that it became transparent, and we were flying through the air, luminous bodies rushing toward that band of gold, while all around us the dark was getting thicker and thicker. Much appreciated. The next poem is set in Galilee. There's a company in Israel that starts to export cheeses, and they're based in Nazareth, and they're called Cheeses of Nazareth. Grapes of Galilee. She wanted them unwashed, tainted with thin dust, blemished and bruised, and misted with the salt of tears. She wanted to taste earthy minerals, tannin, and the bitter, sweet waters ordained originally to divide the sea from sky and dry land. She wanted to feel the firm flesh break and bleed a slow fermentation of the sun, rain, and basalt. She would rub the rough skins on the altar of her upper gum and imagine him in the bazaar among other Jews and Palestinians, an ordinary-looking man with black curly hair and almond brown skins, eating grapes on a hot day. She wondered if the flashing lights in the skies from the bombs marked his return. Would he rub vinegar into the wounds of the Lebanese and Israelis and promise them the kingdom of heaven? Would he weep with the displaced and the meek? Would he share grains of rough wheat and wild grapes with the Hezbollah, and after spending 40 nights with them, proffer alms to the wrongly imprisoned? Or would he be drawn to silence? Eating the bittersweet grapes of Galilee, she prayed not for the healing of her blood that was sick with HIV, not for the homeless or the bereaved, and not for those who had hope. Now we're